Hi guys, in today's review is on some pre-grouping rolling stock by Rapido Trains UK. And this pre-grouping rolling stock I have been keeping my eye on and got very excited about when they announced it back in September 2024. And these are the Evolution coaches. And here in front of us we have a set of 3 and a full brake in the lovely looking Great Northern TEAK. So like I said, these sets were announced in 2024 and they arrived in 2026. The batch got split up to 3 batches and this is batch B out of the set. So we have a full brake which is 978048 era 2. The running number is 3204. And then we have the free set. Again, it's era 2. Product code is 978021. And because there's 3 coaches, it's A, B and C, and these are era 2 and they all came out in March 2026. So it wasn't that too long to wait for these. I do love my pre-grouping rolling stock and locomotive, so this TEAK was a must. I am really excited to get into these, see if they're any good and are they worth the money. So here goes, let's get into this review, shall we? Let's talk about the packaging you get with these Evolution coaches. If you are to buy the 3-pack that Rapido do, they're actually quite nice, the packaging. So it reminds me of a Hutton style. So you get whatever company you've pre-ordered, so Great Northern, NWR, Great Western. It has their livery on it in a line drawing with the company's name in one of the gaps between the doors, and it has what coach it is. The coaches are also numbered A, B and C with the code, which I quite like, it's smart. If you were to buy a coach single, e.g. a full brake or another composite, it comes in the Rapido colours. With Evolution written in it, it comes in a green, but there's no distinct markings, but it does have a yellow band. It's more of a generic box. So with these Evolution coaches, you do get quite a lot of details to add, and depending on what style coaches you get, depending on how much detail you actually get, if that makes sense. So you do get an owner's manual, which basically tells you how to open the models if you're new to the hobby, what to do if you have any issues, how to do the lighting, which I will show you how to do the lighting, what accessories you get, and who to credit for the help with the project. Again, that has a line drawing on the front, and I think it's a generic book. So you do get a wand, that is for your lights. You also get some longer footboards to add yourself, because not all coaches come with footboards. You also get another bag of detail that has 2 screw link couplings, steam heat pipes ×2, close coupling hose medium ×2, close coupling hose short ×2, bogie footboards, long central footboards. The full brake uses short central footboards, and a selection of windows to add yourself if you want to. They come already glazed, but there's windows in the detail bag for different positions if you want them open, half open, or keep the ones that it has. I believe the full brake comes with 7 windows because it only has less windows than the others. So here we have the 2 different types of coach endings in this Evolution range. I will apologise about the track in front of it. These are so free rolling, they just run away. So that's the only way I can do it, so apologies. These being a Great Northern or LIVERY, depending on preference, they are in a TEAK. Down below we do have a standard NEM pocket and coupler on all the coaches. We also have a little tiny step just below the buffer beam. The buffer beam itself is in a brown colour with a line of rivets. There's quite a few rivets on there. There's also a hole for your details. The buffer shanks, I believe they're called, are round. There's no rivets around them. I think these are tapered buffers. And then the buffer itself is in metal and it's black. Unsprung as well. These are all the same on all of the coaches. Doesn't matter what livery they're in. We also have a vac pipe or a steam pipe, and on the Great Northern version this is painted in brown and black. As we move on up, this is where it gets interesting. Like I said, we have 2 versions here. So if you look carefully enough, you can see the teak finish in the panelling, which looks fantastic. I do like the teak finish. It might look a little bit blotchy close up, but from the usual view, it looks totally fine. you have 2 separate lamp irons, which are metal, they are separately applied. We also have 5 steps going up. Again, these are metal and these are separately applied as well. And we also have the handrails that curve upwards. If you look closely between the panelling, there is some, I think it's black and white lining, which is great. And these are elliptical roofs, which I'll get onto in a minute. If you were to turn it around, you again have 2 lamp irons. Again, these are metal separately applied. You also have the electrical piping in brown going up. You have the panelling too, with the lining and the teak finish, which looks great. And again, it has the elliptical roofs to go with it. So next up, we come on to the sides of the coaches and also the interior. So let us start with the side of the coach on this one here, which is a third brake number 3156 in the Great Northern TEAK livery. So you may have guessed by the title, the passenger side is a third class. So at the front of it, we do have 2 places for smokers. There's 2 compartments there. We also have step-applied handles for the doors. We have flush glazing. We also have a crest as well and the word third. The teak close-up, like I said before, does look a little bit grainy, but from a usual viewing point, it's totally fine. We also have a guard ducket. We have a guard door. We have the Great Northern lettering. Then we come to a double door which says passenger luggage, if I have that correct. All the printing on these is very well done and very crisp. We also have some white and black lining around the panelling. And also at the top of the doors we also have the vents too. There is, I think, 3 different chassis down below. On this one, where the guards areas, we do have some footboards already applied. We also have some wooden wheels inserts. There's some leaf springs and some axles there as well. But the other bogie is totally different. It doesn't have the footboard. And in between that, we have the electrical stuff, which we'll get onto later. The sub bar itself is in a brown colour, but the rest of the chassis is in a black. Now we come on to the interior of this third coach. As you can see, I've deconstructed it. Let's start with the roof. The roof itself is white with some rain ducts. All of the Great Northern roofs are white with rain ducts. Where the passengers are, we have 4 vents. That is for the smoking compartment. And then we also have 2 more vents over the guards area. If you want to take the roofs off, it's pretty easy. Just get your fingernail or thumbnail underneath the roof and the shell, and it just clips away. There is 5 clips either side, 10 in total, keeping the roof attached. Once you've taken that off, there is a strip which is for the lighting and it has a small capacitor. All the strips are the same in the coach. If you look closely enough on the coach itself now, in the middle, roughly, you can see 4 pickups, and that is for the lighting. It gets it through from the wheels. It's a good solution. All the luggage rackets are etched metal. Because this is a third class, it's all red seats. There's some pattern on these seats and there is also some pictures. There's pictures in first and third by the looks of it. Again, if you look close enough, you can see the windows are flush, but you can change them out for the ones in the bag. You do see the guard ducket there, and inside there we have a few bits of detail which is fantastic. We have a pigeonhole, we also have some dials on the gauges, and we have a handbrake too. Then the other side is a few cupboards and a wood wall. Now we move on to the all third number 3067. This is part of the 3-pack. As you can tell, there is some differences down below, but I'll get into later on. So on your left hand side, the 3 compartments there are for smoking. On the roof there we'll have vents, which I'll show you later. We do have the crest on every door. We also have the door handles, like I said before, separately applied. We also have the Great Northern lettering there as well, between the middle and last smoking area. Again, all this is crisply printed. And then where it's a non-smoking area, basically where no stickers are, we have the crest again, and also the number, like I said, which is 3067. Again, all this printing is fantastic. Like I said, some of the teak wood effect close-up does look a bit brutal, but from a normal view, it's totally fine. So down below, again, we do have a small black board. It's very tiny. It's on every of the Great Northern coaches, as far as I'm aware. We also don't have any footboards on the bogies on this one, or these ones are without any footboards, but there's some in the detail bag if you wanted to add them. Again, we have the same wheel inserts as well, and the same electrical boxes in the centre underneath too. Now onto the interior of the all third coach. Like I said, all the roofs are white with a rain ducket going across, but the vents have moved to the left hand side of the coach as you look at it. That is where all the smoking area is. That's the only differences with these roofs on this coach. We also have the same lighting board as well. I will apologise if I'm repeating myself here. This has been all third, it's red. We do have the paintings and the mirrors on there. We also have the luggage brackets too, and then we have the pickups in the same places. I think the seats do have patterns on as well. So next up is the composite, which is number 3023, and this is a mixture of third and first if I have my facts correctly. Again, we have the crest on all the doors, which is great. As you look at it now, on the left hand side is a third compartment with one smoking sticker, then the rest are third. We also, around that area, have the Great Northern lettering as well, which is lovely. Then as you go to the right hand side, we have some first compartments and also some first class compartments with the smoking sticker on. These smoking stickers are crisp, you can read them and everything. These ones are white. And we also have the number of the coach, like I said, which is 3023. We have that minute black footboard down below, I want to call it, part of the chassis. The chassis itself, again, is in brown. We have the bogies themselves, do not have footboards on. And underneath we also have supports with the electrical boxes as well. Now we do a deconstruction of the coach. Again, it has the same features as the other ones. So on the roof where the vents are is where you can smoke, if I have this correct. So we have one in the third class and then we have two in the first class. Again, we have the rain duckets and the off-white or white roof to go with it. You can also see the lighting bar and capacitor that is there as well. So this one has first class. The first class is basically where the blue seats are. And if you look closely in these blue seats, you can see some armrests, and on the headrests themselves, there is patterns. We also have the same pictures and mirrors in the third and the first that we have in all the coaches. If you look closely in the centre of the coach, again, we have the pickups for the light. You can see four of them to either side, blended in by the luggage rackets at the top, which are a metal piece. Third class again is red, no armrests, so there's some differences there. And if you look closely enough, you can see a wood-ish flooring going on, and again you can change the windows if you would like. Now we come on to my favourite coach out of the range, and that is the full brake. In this Great Northern TEAK livery, it looks stunning. So we do have a guard ducket there that does have glazing in. It also has some wonderful panelling and lining on it as well. They've captured it very well on all of the coaches, if I'm honest with you. So this side, left side of the ducket, has a double door, and on that double door it has a separate handle. It also says passenger luggage across the two doors. Again, all this printing is fantastic. We also have the Great Northern lettering as well. And then on the right hand side, as you look at it now, next to that ducket, we do have a crest on the door. We also have the word guard as well. We have some more lining and panelling as well. We also have the number of the coach, 3204. Again, you can see all this with the naked eye. And then we have the double doors again, which say passenger luggage. There is no smoking signs on any of these doors or windows, so I don't know if the guards would still smoke or not. Possibly they would smoke. So down below we have that tiny black footboard that I think is a footboard that runs along the whole of the chassis on all of the Great Northern coaches. We don't have any footboards on the bogie wheels themselves. On this version we have the wood inserts in the wheels. The wheels again are metal. We have the leaf springs, we have the brake shoes lining up with the wheels. But in the centre it's a little bit different. We have a tiny footboard, which is a separate applied piece that is level with the guard's door. In the detail bag, you can add for a bigger one, I believe, because it's in there to do that. Now, as we deconstruct the full brake as it was, again, it has the usual 6 vents on the roof. The roof, again, is in white with a rain ducket on there. It has the 10 clips holding it in, 5 on each side. Them 6 vents are 2 in each compartment. Later on, you'll see it's split into 3 compartments. And we also have the usual lighting board with the capacitor. In this full brake, it does remind me of a cross between the Hornby and the Hatton's 4 and 6 wheel one. So Hornby went to a bit of trouble to put some wood flooring in and a handbrake. Hatton's didn't. It had the room to, but it didn't. So we have 2 big compartments which are either end of the coach. And in there you have some cupboards. You have the big doors which say passenger's luggage. In both of them, we have the glazing which you can change, obviously. And then the wall that separates it from the bit where the guard is, that looks like wood flooring. There's no actual wood flooring in the coach, but it's there. If you look closely at the guard area, which says guard, the guard ducats are slightly off from each other. Again, they have been glazed as well. We have a brake handle in there. We also have a broom cupboard of some description. I think there could be a clock as well mounted on the wall. We do have a dial, and it does have numbers on it as well. I think that's to do with the pressure or something to do with electric. And we have some pigeonholes, that I want to call it, for letters and stuff like that. Rapido have gone to a great deal of trouble with this coach. So to turn the lights on and off on your Evolution coaches, you are supplied with a wand in your detail bag. It's underneath the coach itself in the packaging, or you could use any magnet. Make sure you've got power to the track, and all you do is you find the spot. I think it's somewhere here. Like so. That's all you need to do. And if you want to change the brightness, that will be up next. So to change the brightness of the lights in these Evolution coaches, on the circuit board you see in front of you, there is a thing that looks like a screw. It does have a name, I can't pronounce it, so I'm sorry. So you find that you use the screwdriver that you would to service any locomotive or even jewellery. It's just there. Make sure it's in, like so. Just wherever you want it, dim to brightness. It is that simple. I like mine on full max. But yeah, that's how you change the brightness in these coaches. And finally, we come on to the underneath look at these coaches. And believe it or not, there is some subtle differences within the Great Northern range, especially with the electrical stuff. So let's talk about the full brake underneath. The full brake underneath, as you saw, does have 2 tiny steps where the guard is. The bogies on these don't have any footboards on, and all of the coaches do pick up from the axles. It's a copper sort of strip going up to make the connection for the lighting, which is very subtle and very nice. If we now look at the third brake, there is a slight difference. That slight difference is it doesn't have any footboards coming off the chassis, but it does have some footboards on the bogie underneath the guard area, and it has 1 bogie with nothing on it. Then if you move over to your all-third or your composite chassis, underneath the bogies don't have nothing at all, and there's no extra footboards. But there is extra footboards in your detail bag. If you wanted to add them, you can. All of the coaches are electric, so they all have electrical boxes. They have supports. They have, I think it's a generator. All of this is quite easy to touch, but it's quite bendy as well, so just be very careful. They all have the same wheels that have the wood insert. We all have the brake rigging applied to the bogies themselves, which is great. It's very thin, very delicate. We also have the axles and springs that you've seen before. The coupling is a spring kinematic one, I want to say. It's different. It doesn't connect to the bogie. It's separate from the bogie, basically. But all the electrical boxes and generators are all in the same place on the Great Northern one. It's just the bogies and the footboards are slightly different. This is to show you how free rolling these coaches are. I think my board's pretty level. So yeah, pretty fine at some speed as well for a board that I thought was pretty level. Now it's time for the coupling test and points test with these rolling stock. The reason you're so far away and two are coupled up is because my straight's not long enough for this amount of coaches. So I do apologise, but I thought I'd give you the idea of the coupling, so here goes. I think they're all done. So next up is a points test. So next up is the points test, backwards and forwards. Here it goes. We're just concentrating on the coaches. I think they've all made it through. And now reverse. Yeah, no issues there at all. There was a bit of banging, but I don't see any issues. So guys, that's the end of the running session and the review. Before I give my opinion and price, I'll tell you what was pulling it, which was the Hornby Great Northern J13. If you've not seen my review of that model, it should come up now in the right hand corner of the screen, and probably the end card as well. So the price for these, I got mine from Kerner Model Shop. If you want the triple pack, you are talking 17599, give or take. And if you get these direct from Rapido, the triple pack, you're talking nearly £200. That's for all the triple packs. Single coaches, if you just want a single coach, e.g. the full brake or another composite or even another third brake. I got mine again from Kerner and it was £62. And if you get it from Rapido themselves, you're talking £70. Yeah, I think these prices are good. They're keen. They seem to be selling out well, so it's all good. If you can build a coach to this standard for that price with all the features and alternative chassis and stuff like that, fair play, go for it, but at that price it's quite a good deal. So my opinion now, I will apologise first off about the length of the detail section. There is just so much detail with these coaches that it overwhelmed me, and I needed to show it all off the best I could, and I hope I've done that justice. Tons and tons of detail. I do have two or slightly three issues. So the two main ones is that yes, the roof is clipped on, and if you go in there after a while to change stuff or change the pickups, whatever, clean the pickups, whatever you need to do, add people, add parcels, whatever, put the roof back on and then go back in a few days later or months to add some more stuff, just be careful of the clips. On some of my examples, one or two of the clips have snapped off. and I've only had them a few days at the time of recording, so please be aware of that. The other one I have is the lighting. So before the running session, the points and the coupling test, I turned all the lights off on the coach because I don't like lights on my coach because I just have wood and board. It's simple, so I don't need lights. And when I turned the power back on, the lights came on. So that tells me every time you need to turn the power on and off, you have to turn the lights on or off depending on your preference. They're automatically on, which is a little bit annoying, but at least we have lights for the great price we have. The other slight issue, which I did notice on the points test, is there was some knocking or banging noises, and that is simply because the buffers touch on second radius. There should be a photo now of it on second radius. And on third radius, there is a hair width gap between the buffers, and these are not sprung, these are metal. So anything lower than second, I'll try and keep it high, third and higher personally. I think I will, which is a shame. Just be wary of the buffers locking and banging. So that with the little issues out of the way with, I'm happy with these coaches. These coaches are addictive. I have some more on order. I have some more full brakes. I do like my full brakes, and this one's quite nice. I can see a lot of people having these for preserve lines or to run with any locomotive. I will be putting mine with the 4 and 6 wheels by Hatton and Hornby just because I think they go well together, if I'm honest with you. And I can see, like I said, a lot of people buying these. I think Rapido and the team have knocked it out of the park again with their pre-grouping stuff. I do understand why it's a generic coach. It's simply because there's so many pre-grouping companies, so many coach designs back then. It would cost way too much to do it. Just look at the LNWR ones by Bachmann. They're touching £100. And they are to a specific design. If they were a bit more generic, yeah, you would have got your money's worth, but it comes down to your preferences. I think it's a good move by Rapido to do these coaches. So for me, it's a thumbs up, and if you really want one and you don't really like the price, please wait for a sale or second hand. That is what I suggest. It's only my opinion. Hopefully I'll see you in the next review. Please take care and goodbye.